We have with us two people who are actors, they are performance artists, they are script writers from a collective called Baktruppen. And this autumn, they took LARP methods into the National Theatre in Norway during the Ibsen Festival. And I'm looking forward to hear your story about why you did that and how it went. So please give a hand to Mona Solhaug and Trine Falch.
Thank you for that, and thank you for having us. Baktruppen does not longer exist since 6 years. Anyway, Mona was never a member of Baktruppen, but here we are anyway. And thank you for having us. I am Trine Falch, this is Mona Solhaug, and together with Bo Christer Wallström, we initiated a fictional emergency situation at the National Theatre here in Oslo last autumn in September. The musician Martin Langli was also a part of it. Yes, it was called Help, It's Alive. Maybe you should have that one on. So Mona will tell a little bit about how that happened. I will tell a little bit about our background. We have backgrounds from theatre and visual arts. Bo Christer and I both have passed in the performance collective, Baktruppen, yes, existing from the mid-80s until 6 years ago. To put the relation between the audience and actors at stake was also one of our main issues, and the interactivity could be a headline for our work during the 90s. In the part of theatre where we come from, representation has since long been out of fashion. Theatrical fiction has been looked upon as fake, lacking credibility. We were always closer to performance art than to traditional theatre. We hated traditional theatre and reacted strongly against the psychological realism that ruled theatre in the 80s, 90s, and to a certain extent still does. We just didn't believe the actors and the feelings they projected from stage. The actor has always had a credibility problem, and I guess that's why acting is measured in credibility. In the late 90s, the term post-dramatic theatre came into use as a description for the work that we and many others did. Representation and fiction was banned. We wanted to be real. Instead of representation, we talked about presence, being present, which can be said to be oneself on stage. Being oneself is looked upon as something really good in our culture. Being oneself is being one. And being one is a good thing. That's why I guess they say that God is one, the genius is one, truth is one, the director is one, and the actor is two, or are two, or more. Hence, its lower status. Anyway, those two terms, representation and presence, were presented as dichotomies, motsetninger. Linear narratives driven by conflict also fell out of fashion in the post-modern, post-dramatic era, and the world was reflected in fragments. A lot of art and theatre still mourns over lost connections. But we think it's time to pick up the pieces and try to put them together. Not together again, but somehow together. A couple of years ago, I even came up with the term neo-dramatic theatre, a bit for fun, but also as a reaction towards the post-dramatic theatre that once had been a powerful reaction against the psychological realism in theatre, but now has become a mainstream trend within the contemporary theatre. And who wants to be mainstream? The dichotomy between representation and presence is, of course, false. The one does not exclude the other. I don't know what neo-dramatic theatre can be, but what we do is trying to find new ways into fiction. Yes, finding new ways into fiction without backing in behind the fourth wall again, but to find fiction levels that that stages the whole situation, including the audience. A couple of years ago, we made the performance, a performance called Return of the Problem, which took place at the fictional film set. I played the director, Mona played the scriptwriter and also a film actress, and Bo was a cinematographer. We had several actors, a set designer, 2 more camera people, 2 people on sound. We had a gaffer, a boom operator, a makeup artist, a person in charge of the catering, and so on. And we had made several studio locations within a bigger room. And when the audience came, they were placed on seats labeled with the statist, or extra, it said on every seat. So that was a way to stage them, and we talked to them as extras, and they also participated in some of the scenes that we shot. Last autumn, we were invited to participate in an event called Monsters of Reality, a mimesis machine at the National Theatre during the Ibsen Festival. As always, we took a good look at the invitation and the context we should take part in. The National Theatre can be said to be the center of mimetic or representational theatre in Norway, so we would like to make fiction, but somehow not quite in the terms, at the terms of the theatre. In the presentation of the project, which ended up being called Help, It's Alive, we said, we are trapped inside a room that the bourgeoisie built to stage their problems, which always took place on stage. Nowadays, the whole house seems staged, and problems might pop up anywhere. The event was a part of the Ibsen Festival, and the Ibsen Award had been given out to an English theatre company called Forced Entertainment the day before we should do our thing. Forced Entertainment has been in the forefront of the so-called post-dramatic theatre since long, and are well known for their conceptual non-acting close to reality performances. By giving them the Ibsen Award in the traditional bourgeoisie national theatre, the circle was somehow completed. Mona, can you go on from there?
Yeah. So this was kind of this was kind of the backdrop for our fictional setting, was that this Forced Entertainment received this prize because the whole motivation and work that they have been doing for over 30 years has been motivated in being in opposition to the bourgeois scene and everything that they stand for. So when then they are then invited in and given a prize, it's with some kind of claustrophobic feeling, as Trine said, the circle is closed. And this is where our fiction and horror begins. And it was quite a big operation, this event or performance slash LARP. Live is Norwegian for LARP, for those who doesn't know it. And it consisted of many collaborators and participants, a lot of logistics and preparation for this. And this is where we also came in contact with alibier and LARPing, because for us it was very interesting inviting persons that work with fiction for different purposes, motivations, and reasons. And so we had then for the whole show 70 extras, 17 actors, 16 members of the Red Cross, 17 LARPers, 10 audience hosts, 3 technicians, and 1 musicians, and also us. And the backdrop for the fictional reality was that Forced Entertainment, after they received their Ibsen Award, they played their performance called And on the 1000th Night at the National Theatre. That lasted for 6 hours. That was the day before our thing. And what we did was that we pretended that they never stopped playing. So here is a picture of the audience chart. And here is the scene. Here, the stage. Here there are. This is before the audience enters. There are 7 actors, mainly from the National Theatre, playing Forced Entertainment, playing And on the 1000th Night, and never stopped. In the seats, the auditorium, it sits 70 extras that are pretending that they have been sitting there for 24 hours. They have blankets and coffee cups and all kinds of traces that this has been going on for a very long time. Among the extras sits Red Cross, 8 members of the Red Cross, and also 10 actors ready to play out their part in this fiction. There is also, Red Cross has a stand back here on both sides, which is also sometimes realistic when it's like performances that has been going on, or festivals that has been going on for such a long time. Yes, so when the audience enters the main stage, they are told by the audience hosts that they're going to play an audience that is entering a performance that has lasted for 24 hours. And then they are then guided to their seats and placed among Red Cross extras and actors, then in civilian, but as audience that has been sitting there. And on stage here is Forced Entertainment playing their performance. And we had transcribed 20 minutes of a text from a YouTube clip and tried to play as trustworthy and close to the original performance as we could, with proper British English and everything. So the audience sits down, and things appear to be quite normal. At first, it goes 5 minutes, and then a woman starts to cough. And this is quite natural in theater, that people cough, and it can be quite irritating. But then it escalates quite highly, and then but then it calms down again. Then it goes 5 more minutes, and she starts coughing again. And this time more dramatic coughing, and she has to leave the space. Then other kind of incidents occur, as someone starts to nosebleed, and then one vomits, and someone talking loudly in the telephone. One guy chokes on a cherry tomato. Red Cross is coming, giving what is called? Yeah. And then more dramatic ailments, as anxiety attack, epileptic seizure, birth contractions, and to end it all, a big stroke at the end. And this is occurring mainly in the seats, in the audience, but also it strikes one of the actors on stage. And while all these things are happening, the theatrical elements of the theater is also playing along. The light is starting to blink. This is the audience. The lights is starting to blink. The curtain start to go up and down. The spiral stage starts moving around. The orchestra pit. Here is someone quarreling. The orchestra pit that Forced Entertainment is sitting on stage is moving, going up and down and sinking, and the whole room is kind of playing along within this twisted, chaotic situation. And I forgot to mention the LARPers also, because they came in with the audience and they have been LARPing then for the whole festival through, or many of them. Playing that they were in coming from the same floor of a business, having this theater contact and doing this as like a HMS tiltak to better the social kind of conditions at work, and was going to this festival and went in with the audience. And they have had some workshops, 2 workshops before, getting into character and finding their role. And I must say, we were just so impressed by the trustworthy playing that they carried out, reacting to the situation as if it was for real. Yes. So it was quite a tight schedule when thing was supposed to occur from minute to minute. But it was reactions all along to this, and I think people things were happening very locally from where you were sitting, in a way. But the actors came down on stage. The LARPer especially was very angry at the actors that could carry on doing this performance, because the actor just went on playing and was really like feeling it was very unethical, not being concerned about this kind of very dramatic and alvorlig situation that we all were in a way. Yeah. Maybe a little bit about the reactions that we had. Yes. Would you like to? It was a very unusual situation for us. We are very much more used to being a lot more in control of the event that we're putting out. It was it was us who made it, but we didn't quite know how to act within it. Here the LARPer was much more prepared and really like being taking that job very seriously and good, and also the actors. But the space was quite big. I was an actor on stage, looking out to the audience, and all I could see was people really feeling just like discomfortable and misfits, and just what is going on, and that was also a very strange situation to act in front of, in a way.
Because it was impossible to measure somehow, or to out from theatrical points of view.
Yeah.
So it was something quite different, and what is it quality of it all was really getting more and more obvious.
Yeah.
To us, at least.
Yeah. I don't know, do you have any questions?
How did those British theatre companies react to your piece?
I don't think they ever got to know. Actually, we should send them a tape.
How did it end?
It ended in a blackout after 45 minutes. Yes.
Did the audience actually know what was happening before they entered? So what do you expect?
No, they didn't. It was the title, Help, It's Alive, and the most, those who knows live could in a way know what to expect a little bit. It was this short text that Trine quoted beforehand, that problems might pop up anywhere. And they got told by the audience host when they arrived that they now were going to play an audience that was entering a performance that has lasted for 24 hours. So this was this live, or this to becoming a LARP, that there was actually no audience because the audience also played an audience in a way.